My parents ignored my frantic hospital calls because my sister was having a meltdown over paint colors, so I had my lawyer come to the ICU. When they finally did show up, they saw the cost of their absence. I collapsed in the middle of the most important presentation of my career. My heart failed. When I came to, alone and scared, I realized the people who should have been there picked paint swatches instead. The conference room lights stuttered, and my vision blurred. I gripped the podium, but it wasn't enough. 40 pairs of eyes were on me, and I felt something was very wrong. As I laid out the Q3 projections, my voice shook. The slides became a meaningless blur. My heart didn't just race, it felt like it was trying to break free. My name is Sophia, and that day I almost died. Miss Wells, are you all right? Someone called from the back. I tried to speak, but nothing came out. The room tilted. The ceiling panels spun as I crumpled to the floor. People shouted, "Call 911. Is she breathing? Clear the room." My assistant Sarah was by my side. Mascara streaked. "Sophia, stay with us. The ambulance is on its way." I tried to reach for my phone, but my arms were like lead. "Call my parents," I managed to whisper before everything went black. The next memory is of cold. So much cold. Doctor's urgent, muffled words seeped through. Cardiac arrhythmia. Immediate surgery. I begged the nurse, prepping my arm for my phone. She hesitated, then handed it over. With shaking fingers, I dialed my mother. It went straight to voicemail. My father. The same. My texts became frantic. "Mom, I'm in the hospital. Dad, please answer. They're taking me to surgery. I'm scared." The nurse gave me a sympathetic look and took my phone away. "We need to go now, honey. I'm sure they'll be here when you wake up." They weren't. I woke in the ICU hours later, groggy and utterly alone. The machine's steady beeps were the soundtrack of my isolation. Sarah had left a note promising to return, but hospital rules only allowed immediate family after hours. Immediate family? I thought. What a joke. Around 3:00 a.m., a night nurse checked my vitals. She had kind eyes as she adjusted my IV. "Your mother left a voicemail earlier," she said, reaching for my phone. Hope flickered. I nodded. Then I heard it. "Hi, sweetie. We got your messages, but we can't come right now. Hazel is having an absolute crisis about the paint in her new apartment. She's inconsolable. You know how she gets? We'll try to stop by tomorrow if she's feeling better. Love you." The nurse's face fell. Hot tears ran down my cheeks. "Would you like me to call someone else for you?" she asked softly. A memory flashed. Last Christmas, I wrote a check for $50,000 to cover Hazel's credit card debt, while Mom barely glanced up arranging her designer handbags. "Thanks, Sophie. You're such a good sister," she'd said, the phrase like a punchline. Good sister, good daughter, good ATM. I wiped my face. "Actually, yes. Could you hand me my phone? I need to call my lawyer." Concern etched on her face as she passed it over. My hands steadied as I scrolled to Cole. "Derek. Derek, it's Sophia. I know it's late, but I need you. Bring the papers. All of them. I'm at Mount CICU. I listened to his response. "No, my family isn't here. That's exactly why I'm calling." After I hung up, I stared at the ceiling. My heart monitor beeped in time with a new resolve. I had nearly died today, and a paint swatch tantrum took priority. 20 years of similar moments crashed over me. Hazel's tantrums at my college graduation, my parents missing my company's launch because she had a bad date, the countless times I cleaned up her messes while my achievements gathered dust. My phone buzzed, an Instagram notification. Hazel had posted a selfie with our parents, all three huddled around paint samples. The caption, "Worst day ever. Thank God for family support. Blessed family crisis." I closed the phone and felt something hard and cold form in my chest. Not my heart this time. Determination. Tomorrow, Derek would help me begin dismantling everything I'd built for them. For the first time, I wouldn't feel guilty about it. Derek arrived at 9:00 a.m. sharp, briefcase bulging. He looked at me pale, still hooked to monitors, and his professional mask slipped. "Jesus, Sophia, you look like hell." "Thanks." I managed, offering a weak smile. Did you bring everything? He set out stacks of papers on my bedside table. Everything you asked for. But are you sure about this? It's aggressive. My heart literally stopped yesterday, and my family was picking paint swatches instead, I said, bitterness in my voice. Aggressive is exactly what this situation calls for. We worked through documents methodically. My signature grew steadier with each page. It felt right, even though my chest still ached. So that's your parents removed as beneficiaries, Derek said, sorting papers. Next, revoke their access to the accounts you've been using to support Hazel. A memory surfaced. Last summer, standing in my parents' kitchen, with Hazel's latest credit card statement. It's only $70,000 this time, Mom, she'd said, not even looking up. You know how hard things have been. Do it, I told Derek. All of it. He produced more papers. And the vacation house? List it today if possible, I said. They spend every summer there. Not anymore. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. Hazel picked the perfect shade of sage. Crisis averted. How are you feeling, sweetie? I showed Derek and he whistled. Watch this, I said, opening the family group chat. My fingers typed still in ICU after emergency heart surgery. Thanks for asking. Glad Hazel's walls are sage instead of seafoam. Definitely worth missing your daughter's near-death experience for. Derek raised an eyebrow, poking the bear. More like waking it up, I replied. They'd been cocooned in denial for too long. My phone blew up. Mom, don't be dramatic, Sophie. The doctor said, you're stable. Dad, we'll visit soon, princess. Hazel, OMG, why are you trying to make my apartment crisis about you? I put the phone face down. Keep going with the papers, I said. By noon, we had drafted everything needed to legally separate me from my family's parasitic demands. Derek was packing up when my friend Camila burst in with coffee. I just saw Hazel's Instagram story, she said, handing me the cup. She's doing a full renovation reveal, tagged Blessed New Beginnings. Not a single mention of my near death. Of course, I've got the papers ready, Derek said. I can file them tomorrow if you need time to think. I shook my head. File them now. I've had 38 years to think. After they left, I scrolled through more posts. Hazel twirling in her freshly painted living room. Mom and Dad applauding. Caption, sometimes it takes a village. So grateful for parents who drop everything to help. Blessed Paint Day family first. My fingers hovered over the comment button. Then I opened my email and composed a message to my contacts. Dear friends and colleagues, I'm currently in the ICU at Mount Sinai following emergency heart surgery. While I'm stable now, it was a close call. I'm sharing this not for sympathy but for transparency about why I'll be out of office for a while. I'm also sharing because yesterday I learned something valuable about family. Sometimes the ones who should be there aren't, and sometimes that's the wake-up call you need. Best, Sophia. I hit send and turned my phone off. Let them handle the fallout of being exposed. I was done covering for them. A nurse checked my vitals and glanced at the paperwork Derek had left. Big decisions today, life-changing ones. Your heart rate stronger? She noted, checking the monitor. I stared at the Manhattan skyline and felt lighter than I had in years. Yeah, I think it finally remembered how to beat for itself instead of everyone else. She patted my hand and left. In that quiet, I thought I could hear bridges burning and it sounded like freedom. 3 days after surgery, my parents finally showed up. Mom swept in with a Hermes scarf and an expensive bouquet. Dad followed, awkward in the sterile room. Oh, darling, Mom cooed as if we were meeting for lunch. Not after a cardiac event. These fluorescent lights are brutal on your complexion. Nearly dying tends to do that, I replied flatly. Dad cleared his throat. Now, princess, no need for that tone. We're here now. 3 days later, I pointed out. Mom arranged the flowers and filled the silence with chatter. Hazel wanted to come, but she was still dealing with the contractor. They completely botched the crown molding. She's been crying all morning. I pressed the morphine button, not for pain but for patience. Where is Hazel? Dad wondered. Probably posting about her crown molding crisis on Instagram. I said. Did you know her story about paint swatches got more attention than my emergency surgery announcement? Mom's hands stilled. Sophia, please. You know how sensitive she is. She's been beside herself about your situation. My situation? I repeated. You mean my heart stopping? A knock saved them. Derek entered, impeccably dressed with a leather portfolio. Mom brightened. She'd always liked him. Derek, how lovely to see you. Are you checking on our girl? He acknowledged the professional boundary. He handed me a folder. I opened it slowly. Mom, Dad, Derek is my lawyer, I said. Color drained from Mom's face. Dad's smile faltered. These are copies of documents I filed yesterday, I continued. I've removed you from my will, revoked your access to my accounts, and listed the vacation house in Florida for sale. But the house. Dad stammered. Where will we go in the summer? Not my concern, I said. Mom's hand flew to her throat. Sophia, you can't be serious. We're family. Family. I laughed and the monitor picked up my spike in anger. Last month I paid off Hazel's $70,000 credit card debt. The month before I covered her rent. Last year I funded her failed jewelry business. When my heart stopped, what did I get? You chose paint swatches over your dying daughter. Dad protested weakly. That's not fair. No, I said, leaning forward. What's not fair is that my entire adult life I've been your backup plan, your safety net, your human ATM. The Bank of Sophia is officially closed. Derek handed each of them a packet. These detailed the changes. Read them carefully. Mom's hands trembled as she flipped through. This is ridiculous. You won't go through with this. Family sticks together. I looked her in the eye. If that's true, how come I almost died alone? The room went quiet. The house is listed, Derek added quietly. We expect it to sell quickly. Dad sank into a chair. Princess, please, let's talk about this rationally. I had plenty of time to think rationally while lying there alone for 3 days. I said, did you know the nurses took turns sitting with me because they felt bad I had no family here? Strangers showed more concern than my own parents. Mom's mascara ran. You're being dramatic. We came as soon as we could after Hazel's paint crisis was fixed. Check your priorities, Mom. Check your phone. Hazel's probably in another meltdown about crown molding right now. And exactly then Mom's phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Instinctive. Answer it, I said. She smoothed her skirt, voice trembling. This isn't over, Sophia. You're upset, not thinking clearly. We'll discuss this when you're feeling better. Actually, I said, pressing the nurse call, we won't. Security arranged by Derek escorted them out. I heard Mom choke on. She can't do this. She's our daughter. No, I whispered to the empty room. I'm just the backup daughter you never wanted but always needed. And I quit. The monitor steadied, my heart returning to a normal strong rhythm, like it knew this was only the beginning. At 3:00 a.m., my phone rang. Hazel's name flashed. I answered out of curiosity. How dare you, she spat. How dare you do this to Mom and Dad? Good morning to you too, I said. How's the crown molding crisis? She tried to be furious. You ungrateful. You did this to them. I sat up straighter. Interesting how you react strongly to consequences. But couldn't muster concern when I was literally dying. Oh my God, you're not dying. Stop being dramatic, she scoffed. My heart stopped. For a beat she actually went quiet. Call Derek and undo everything right now, or I'll never speak to you again. I laughed, genuinely for the first time in days. Is that a threat? Her tone softened to manipulation, the one that usually got her what she wanted. Remember when we were kids and you promised to always take care of me? I recalled being 12 and Hazel 6, how she'd wrecked my science fair project the night before while Mom blamed me for not sharing. I remember a lot, Hazel. I remember selling Grandma's ring to bail you out of debt 3 years ago. You thanked me, then went shopping with Mom. That's different. I needed you. You always need, and I always provide. Not anymore. Hazel tried one last tactic. Mom wants a meeting, one last family talk. Fine, I agreed. Tomorrow at noon, hospital cafeteria, But bring your contractor. Noon. Take it or leave it. She said okay. And I'm bringing Camila, I added. Your annoying friend. Why? She asked. Because I'm done being outnumbered. The next day, Mom and Dad arrived first. Exhausted. Hazel breezed in late with sunglasses and an iced latte, like nothing was wrong. Camila sat beside me, steady. Mom reached across the table. Let's talk rationally. Rational? Camila snapped. Like ignoring your daughter's emergency surgery? This is a family matter, Hazel said. I was family when you needed your credit cards paid off, I said. Dad tried to placate. Princess, we understand you're hurt, but this revenge, it's beneath you. This isn't revenge, I said. It's boundaries. It's me finally saying no. Hazel slammed her latte down. Do you know what this is doing to me? My anxiety is through the roof. My followers can tell something's wrong. Camila cut in. Your sister almost died. You're worried about Instagram aesthetics. Stay out of this. Hazel turned on Camila. This is your fault. You've always tried to turn her against us. No, I interrupted. You did this yourselves. Mom began crying. Practiced, on cue. We can fix this. Call Derek. Stop. My voice was steel. The house is in escrow. The accounts are closed. It's done. Hazel stood up so fast her chair toppled. Ungrateful. She grabbed her latte and hurled it at Camila, who barely dodged. The cafeteria fell silent. Security moved in. And that, I said quietly as Hazel's screams faded down the corridor, is exactly why this is happening. Security escorted her out. I turned to my parents. We're done here. Mom tried one last time. No, I'm going to be discharged tomorrow, I said, cutting her off. When I leave this hospital, I'm leaving the dysfunction behind too. I rose from my chair with Camila steady at my side. One more thing, I said. I've asked my lawyer to file a restraining order against Hazel. Consider this her first and last warning. Camila squeezed my hand as we walked back to my room. You okay? She asked. I nodded, lighter than I had felt in years. Funny thing, my heart's actually beating better now that I've stopped letting them break it. Down the corridor, Hazel's distant screams mixed with Mom's sobs. The sound of consequences finally catching up. The Florida house sold in 3 days, well above asking. I signed the final papers for my new apartment, where I'd been recovering. Derek sat across from me and slid a cashier's check for $4,200,000 across the table. What will you do first? He asked. Hire an estate sale company to clear it out, I said. Everything goes, including the piano. My hand froze over the check. The baby grand piano, my childhood refuge, had been given to Hazel at 16, though I was the one who played. My phone buzzed, a news alert. Local woman removed from luxury boutique after altercation with staff. The thumbnail showed Hazel being escorted by security. Mascara streaked. Your sister's making headlines, Derek observed. She always wanted fame. I forwarded the article to Camila. Her reply, Karma's working overtime. The estate sale crew arrived the next day. I watched on FaceTime as they cataloged items, tagging prices on pieces of my past. Marie, the manager, held up a jewelry box. What about this? She asked. Inside was the empty space where my grandmother's ring had been. The ring I'd sold to cover Hazel's debts. Sell it, I said. Everything goes, Sophia. Off camera, a voice shrieked. Hazel had breached security and tried to grab items. Marie turned the camera to show Hazel being removed again, screaming about heirlooms and betrayal. My phone filled with text from Mom. How could you sell our memories? Your father is heartbroken. That piano was for Hazel. We're still your family. I blocked their numbers. Later, Derek called, voice tight. We have a situation. Hazel tried to file for temporary conservatorship over you. She what? I said. She claims your cardiac event affected your mental capacity. Says your behavior proves you're unfit. I laughed without humor. Let me guess. She wants control of my money. Exactly. Make it expensive, I said. Countersue for harassment. On Saturday I watched security camera feeds on my phone as strangers sorted through the household. The piano went to a music school. Perfect. Then an email from an unknown address with the subject line, "Your father's medical records." My blood ran cold. I asked Derek to open it. Inside was one line, "Dad has a heart condition." "What is this?" I asked. Derek confirmed it. "Our father has the same genetic condition. Hazel had been monitored for it since childhood. They'd known I might have inherited it. They never told me." My hands trembled, but my voice stayed steady. "Remember when you said the conservatorship claim was ridiculous?" I asked Derek. "Yes." "Prove it. Release my medical records to the court. Show I'm competent and thriving post-surgery, then leak that they knew about the genetic risk and withheld it." "That's nuclear," Derek said. "Nuclear feels appropriate," I replied. We hung up. Another notification arrived, a certified letter from Hazel's lawyer. I opened the attachment and saw a photo of me at 12, standing protectively next to 6-year-old Hazel. On the back in Mom's handwriting, "My girls forever." Hazel had scrawled beneath, "Remember who you're supposed to be. My protector. Don't make me destroy you." I forwarded it to Derek and opened my laptop. It was time to tell the whole story, the manipulation, the financial abuse, the neglect. No names, just truth. Grandmother's voice echoed in my head. "Sometimes the bravest act is to stop protecting people from the consequences of their actions." I typed. Each sentence built a wall between my past and my future. Let them threaten, I thought. I wasn't their protector anymore. I was my own. The blog post went live at midnight. By 6 a.m. it had been shared over 100,000 times. Headline: A story of family toxicity and survival. I hadn't named names, but anyone who knew us would recognize it. Camila called, "Have you seen Twitter? You're trending." My feed filled with thousands of comments, people sharing similar stories. The phrase "golden child syndrome" trended. Camila added, "Your mother's country club friends are having a field day." She even left a tennis match because everyone was whispering. My phone buzzed. Nicholas, Hazel's on again, off again boyfriend, texted, "She's been screaming for hours, throwing things. I can't handle this." I replied, "Ask her about Dad's heart condition. Ask why they never told me I could have the same risk." Silence on the line. "They knew since we were kids." Hazel was tested. I wasn't informed. He exhaled. "I'm done. Tell Derek I'll testify." By noon, the story made local news. A prominent family's private problems were public. Medical neglect and financial abuse. They didn't use names, but no one needed them. Dad called, "Princess, please. They're asking me to step down from the club board," he said later. "Tragic," I replied. "Almost as tragic as not telling your daughter about a potentially fatal heart condition." He said they were trying to protect me. "No," I said. "You were protecting Hazel from responsibility." Derek updated me. The conservatorship attempt was dismissed. The judge laughed. Hazel then sent a cease and desist, claiming irreparable trauma from my post. Perfect, I countered with medical records. Her lawyer withdrew the letter within an hour. I was reviewing asset transfer paperwork when Nicholas messaged, "She doesn't know I recorded it." The video showed Hazel raging at our parents. "Fix this. Make her stop." I forwarded it to Derek with one word: leverage. My phone then received a photo of my grandmother's ring from an unknown number. Missing something. I blocked it and called Derek. "They're getting desperate," I said. "Good," he replied. "Because I just filed the harassment suit." "That ring thing was amateur hour. I bought your grandmother's ring months ago. It's in my safe." Tears pricked my eyes. "You did? Of course. I knew you'd want it back." That evening, my blog post hit national news. Interview requests flooded in. Mom left a voicemail, crying, screaming, apologizing all at once. "Please, sweetie, we can fix this. Tell everyone you were confused. Say you made it up." I played it for Camila over wine. "She sounds sincere." Camila said, "She's not," I replied. "She's sorry they were exposed, not for what they did." A news alert. Local socialite has a public meltdown at a gala. Another photo of Hazel being escorted out. "She's never faced consequences," Camila observed. She doesn't know how. I opened my laptop and began drafting again. This time an email to my realtor. Subject, looking for properties in California. Running away? Camila asked. No, I said. I was moving toward a new life. Mom's number flashed. For the first time I didn't feel compelled to pick up. Some bridges aren't meant to be repaired. Some fires must burn until only truth remains. The family home looked smaller than I remembered when I arrived to collect the last of my things. Derek had arranged a discreet police presence. The front door opened before I could use my key. Mom stood there, diminished without her makeup. You brought security, she asked. Voice cracked. I brought witnesses, I said, indicating Camila and the officer. Dad appeared behind her. This is unnecessary, he said. After Hazel's latest stunt, it's necessary, I replied. They stepped aside. The house smelled of Chanel and stress cleaning. I'm here for my things, I said, childhood photos and documents. Mom hesitated, then said, there's something you should know. She twisted her wedding ring, her tell for manipulation. Sit down for this. I'll stand. Dad nodded. It's about your adoption. The word landed like a blow. Camila gripped my arm. My what? I asked. Mom told me I was technically my Aunt Sarah's daughter. When Sarah died, they took me in at 2 and never told me. The room swayed. Sarah, my actual mother. Dad stepped forward. We loved you like our own. Stop. My voice went cold. You loved me like your own. You let me believe I was your biological child, while withholding life-saving medical information because it wasn't genetic for me. You prioritized your biological daughter while I paid her bills, and nearly died alone. Mom protested that they didn't want me to feel different. I laughed sharply. Different? Like how you treated me differently my whole life. Heavy footsteps announced Hazel's arrival. Oh good, she finally knows she's not really my sister, she sneered. Then I guess I'm not responsible for you anymore, I said. All those years of guilt and obligation, they were never mine. Hazel called me ungrateful, but Mom cut her off. We gave you everything. I interrupted. I earned those things. While you coddled your real daughter, I did the work. I pushed past Hazel and went to my old room. At the bottom of the box I'd come for was a small frame. The last photo of Aunt Sarah holding me as a baby. Downstairs, chaos erupted. Hazel screamed about inheritance. Mom sobbed about loyalty. Dad attempted reason. I descended with the box and the officer nearby. Hazel lunged for the album. The officer stepped between us. These are Aunt Sarah's photos, I said calmly. I'm taking what's mine and leaving what never was. Mom grabbed my arm. I shook her off. I'm not walking away from family, I said. I'm walking away from people who kept me as a convenient backup plan. We'll sue, Hazel screamed. Go ahead, I replied, as I opened the door. Remember, I have proof of financial fraud, medical neglect, and that you hid my adoption status. Want to see how that plays in court? Silence. I turned to them one last time. You kept the secret thinking it would make me feel less like family. Knowing the truth sets me free. I'm not your backup daughter or your ATM. I'm Sarah's daughter. I'm done carrying your burdens. Camila opened the door. Sunlight poured in. I heard Mom collapse into sobs behind me. Ahead lay open road and possibility. Ready? Camila asked. I clutched my box of real memories. Ready. We stepped into the sunlight and left the shadows of lies behind. My phone buzzed with another lawsuit threat from Hazel's lawyer. Let them come, I thought. I had truth now, and truth was my strongest defense. In California, the sun shone through my office window as I finished typing the final blog post. My heart, now steady and strong, kept time with my keystrokes. I wrote, family isn't only blood or obligation. It's about choice. Every day we choose who we let into our hearts. Derek called, the lawsuits are dismissed. The judge called them, and I quote, frivolous attempts at financial manipulation. How's Hazel taking it? I asked. Not well, he replied. Tabloids were full of her public meltdown. My sister ruined my life. read a headline with video of Hazel throwing drinks at paparazzi. Not the fame she wanted. Mom sent an email with the subject line, "Your father's birthday." Inside a vacation photo, "And we miss you. Can't we go back?" I clicked delete. The doorbell rang. Camila stood with coffees and a small package. Derek's delivery, my grandmother's ring, rescued and reset as a necklace. "You might want to wear it differently now," he said. I fastened it around my neck just as an email confirmed a donation. I'd funded a year of cardiac screenings named for Sarah, my real mother. Camila reminded me, "My support group starts soon." I logged into the video call, and dozens of faces appeared. People who'd found strength through my story. "Welcome," I said. "Today we're talking about setting boundaries without guilt." Halfway through, Nicholas texted, "Hazel's trying to sell a story about your adoption to tabloids." I replied, "I sent them the video of her admitting to financial fraud. Instead, karma was working overtime." Another email from Dad arrived. "I'm sorry, I was wrong." For the first time, his words had no power over me. I didn't need his approval. The support group ended with our affirmation, "We choose ourselves today." Camila pointed at my blog comments. A message stood out. "I left my toxic family today. Your story gave me courage." I touched the necklace over my heart. "Ready for dinner?" I asked. I invited someone from the cardiac support group, a writer who went through family drama. Outside, the sunset painted colors no paint swatch could match. My phone buzzed with another Hazel rant. I turned off notifications and smiled at Camila. I'm finally done carrying their story. It's time to live my own. We walked toward the restaurant, the necklace catching the last rays of light. Comments streamed in on my post. "You helped me find my voice. Revenge had led me here, but it wasn't what kept me standing. What sustained me was something else. The power of choosing myself, building a life where love didn't demand sacrifice." My heartbeat was steady and true. No more racing to please others or breaking under obligations. This was freedom. This was peace, and it tasted sweeter than revenge ever could.